Hello and welcome to the Six Cells podcast. My name is Mike Nicholson from Six Cells. Today I'm going to be speaking to Sophie Toth from Rakuten Viber. But before we do, can we please say a big thank you to Lumen Research, who sponsor this podcast. For those that don't know Lumen, they're an eye tracking technology company that help brands to plan, buy, optimize and measure media and creative investments towards real human attention, thus increasing ROI. So thanks very much for the team at Lumen. And Sophie, welcome. How are you?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me here. I'm very good. The sun is out, so I can't.
The sun is out. The tubes are not good, though.
Yes.
You had a bit of a struggle getting here, so well done. They put enough obstacles in your way this morning, but you got there in the end, so well done. Could you give us a bit, just to kick us off, could you give us a bit of a sort of a potted history of your career to date, please?
Yes. My career started in Hungary. I'm Hungarian, and after 2 years being in digital space in Hungary, I decided to come over to the UK and try my luck. So I started as a campaign manager at Net Communities. I will be always grateful for the team. They taught me a lot. And after that, I shifted to the programmatic space. I got a role at The Economist. So I was the global programmatic specialist, helping salespeople, helping the directors, and also being a technical, let's say, AdOps person as well within the team. And after that, I wanted to grow. I wanted to own the space much more. So I went to the news publisher, Euronews. I was a campaign manager, programmatic manager there. Then very soon I was promoted to programmatic and adtech lead. I was there for 5 years. I learned a lot, especially, around partnerships and how we deal with, the ad stack, how we grow, how we implement new ideas within our current or when we had that, not just the programmatic, but the ad stack, and how, see the full picture as well, even I'm just one part of it. And now I'm at Rakuten Viber, which is a 100% app. So it's a challenge, but it's a good challenge. I really like the people. I really like the environment. And why I joined Viber, because I see that apps will grow a lot because the third-party cookie will be deprecated. I think so within a couple of years, if not sooner, because it's not about like a Google decision or our decision. It's about, being compliant to the law. And that time, I think so, app will rise. And the Viber is very, very big, huge globally. We are a little bit different from the traditional messaging apps, super apps, but I see great potential in the product and in the app as well.
So what products have you got at Viber? I know the Viber messaging app, but I think there's more to it than that, isn't there?
Yeah. So we call it super app. Obviously, messaging is the main profile, but there is, for example, an SMB part, fintech part, and we try to explore new possibilities. My expertise and where I sit, it's like ad monetization, which mainly comes to the messaging part of the business. So okay. Yes.
And as if that wasn't keeping you busy enough, you're also the co-founder of the Women in Programmatic Network.
Yes, it came before Viber. Yeah. So it's a nice story. Right, because I'm Hungarian, and with Emily Roberts, we co-founded the Women Programmatic Network. And in Budapest DigiDay event, we met and we talked. We aligned on things. That time she worked at BBC, I worked in Euronews. There was a big hype around brand safety that time. A news publisher suffered because of that. So we decided, let's just come together once a month, have a nice dinner, and just talk about, in general, the digital, what we think about it. And the pandemic happened. So we went online. We were like so determined that we want to, share the knowledge. And we had our first call, I think so, 2 of us. And after that, we invited a couple of other ladies, and they invited others and others. And we rapidly grown. And once we put out there that the Women in Programmatic Network is a thing, other companies pick up on it. And I think so the very first interview was with the IAB. And since then we are growing. The ladies are enjoying being the part of this network, and basically my personal aim was that embracing the women, give them the confidence to go out, talk about their knowledge, because everyone said it's a very male-dominated industry. So I really much support the ladies to go out, talk. If I can talk, everyone can talk, as well as we wanted to create a very safe place where everyone can share. If they has if someone has issue, they can come to us. And I don't wish and I don't want anyone, regardless the gender, to feel alone. And this is why I'm so happy what I see and how, the ladies engage with each other. Yeah. Right. And now it's international, it's worldwide. New hubs will pop up very soon. Mm-hmm. We step back a little bit with Emily, but now I think so I'm ready to again engage with the network a little bit more. And I'm so proud of everyone who is part of it, to be honest.
So how many members do you have currently?
Oh, I think so. Minimum. When I step back, we were around 2,500. Wow. I can say it's more than 3,000, but we have more than 6,000 followers on LinkedIn, and we have different chat groups on messaging apps, and yes. So the proper registration, I would say it's around 3,500, 4,000 ladies all over the world.
Okay. And in terms of the network itself, you said it started with a monthly call.
Yes.
And you have chat groups. What else goes on? How does the network operate, and how does it support members?
Yeah, so what we realized, we need to be global. I really like this word. So we decided to operate on, let's say, local chapter level, but also give access to the ladies to the global network as well. So they are totally independent what they do. Obviously, they need to be aligned with the Women in Programmatic idea, because everyone wants different things. So meanwhile, US like to go out and have more events, in-person events. Probably Spain would like to have more workshops. So what is mandatory is the monthly call. But other than that, they are free to organize the network, the meetups, or embrace, the women locally as they would like or could consider the best for them.
Okay. So events can be set up by any one of the 3,000 members that you have. It doesn't all have to be done by you.
No, we have board members, and obviously if someone has an idea, they reach out to the board members, and they have roles. And I believe every board has one member who deals with events. But yeah, if someone has idea, just find out who can help, or just reach out to me, and I will direct her or him to the best person. It's not a problem.
Okay, lovely. So going back to apps then,
yes.
For a moment. So very familiar with the Viber app. What do you say some of the benefits are of messaging apps? You mentioned that apps are growing and have been growing for as long as they've been going, pretty much, I think, in terms of the time spent in them. Obviously, messaging apps are super customizable. You can have just me and you, or you can have me and the 3,000 people in the network. So they're very customizable to the individual. But what would you say are some of the sort of key benefits to marketers and brands for messaging apps?
Yeah. So I go a step back a little bit. I think so. App is viable because of the initial trust, what it has with the user. They have the app on the phone and they engage with the app, right? Most of the time. With messaging app, I think so the benefit is, first of all, the user use it every day. So the retention rate, the engagement rate with the app is very high. As well as, if the brand would like to engage with the B2C audience, is just brilliant. A messaging app can have a great data overlay for example, if they have very specific user targeting, messaging app can do that. The viewability rate usually very high, exceptional, and again, not just the engagement with the app or messaging app, but the engagement with the brand or with the campaign is usually much more higher than anywhere else. So I think so. It's retention rate, the trust, and yes, time spent in the app.
Okay. And what sort of advertising formats do you offer?
Yeah. So my space is traditional media, so IAB banners, and within the banner we can do native, display, and video. So these three what we offer. We really much take care about the user experience, and we want to be first of all super app, messaging app, and then monetize our inventory and not other way around.
No, the way around, yeah, that makes sense. You start losing users, then
yes.
no one to serve the app.
Yes. The user are our assets, right? So without them, we can't do anything.
Yeah. And what sort of, how are brands using Viber at the moment? What sort of campaigns do they run? Is it very direct response, trying to sell things? Is it branding? Mm-hmm. What types of campaigns are you running, and what does that look like?
Yeah, so we have different offer. I would stay for the programmatic campaigns, what I can comment on. I would say it's a mix, but mostly when it comes to PMPs, direct PG campaigns, they really much care about the performance, what we can deliver on, thankfully. So they really like us, and usually they like the native format and the display format. Hopefully they will move towards the video. I heard that this will be a big thing, if not already a big thing. So I think the video space is much more, let's say, problematic than the display and the native because of the nature of the video. But yes.
In terms of its weight, you mean?
So creating video assets, trafficking, measuring the performance as well. And I would say video is not direct response. It's more like branding and engagement assets. So, but we are open to the video assets as well. So, so far so good. We are growing our programmatic direct as well, and try to focus on, niche campaigns, advertisers, and quite soon, hopefully we can put something unique out to the market as well.
Nice. So no podcast in our industry would be complete without talking about AI.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe you'd like to talk about Viber, or maybe the industry more generally. How do you see AI sort of integrating into programmatic to the benefit of all? How do you see that working?
I'm very positive about AI until and unless we won't go extreme, right? So I see AI help programmatic a lot. For example, bit string analysis, pinpointing out anomalies, flow price optimization, and in general, AI can help us to be more efficient. And probably our roles will change a little bit toward thinking about the future based on the analysis or based on the data what AI could help us getting in a much more faster way, right? Within Viber, I know that we are trying AI. For example, we have group chats, and when the group chat is very busy, people or members can have an AI summary. But other than that, it's not my main focus. I think so. We will come out with something, because yes, AI is everywhere, and we need to keep up, right?
Summary in a group's a good idea. I like that. I use a tool called Read AI, and it listens to all of my meetings, and then it gives me a summary of the topics discussed, and then the action points, and it gives you engagement scores, who was engaging for how long, and stuff like that. It's amazing. It's absolute game changer. But I've never seen it in an actual messaging app where it goes, I'm in football apps, right?
Yeah,
and you're looking, and you go, oh my goodness, I've been offline for a few hours and there's hundreds of messages. It would be great to just go, can you just give me, is there anything I've missed there? Or is it just nonsense? It's quite a lot. It's just.
I think so. It would be even better if you can give the AI, some keywords, what you are interested in, within the conversation, and based on that.
What time are we meeting and where? Go and find it. Yeah. I don't need all the jokes.
Yeah, and what do you think about the accuracy of this AI, what you just tried? Is it
really good?
Good?
Yeah,
Okay.
so sometimes it doesn't understand words. So obviously we're recording this, can is around the corner.
Yeah.
It doesn't understand can to be CANNES. It thinks I'm talking about Coke cans. So they get little bits and pieces like that, but you can normally tidy that up pretty quickly. But yeah, it's really, really good because if you have an hour call, what I find is if you have an hour call, what you used to have to do is kind of be making notes as you're going to try and capture information that you're going to need to act on later. But when you know that it's being recorded in that way, you can just be totally free and present in the moment, have a conversation, completely free of not worrying about the follow-up. And it will literally just give you a summary. This is everything you discussed. And you can ask for more or less detail. You could just be bullet points, top line, just to remind you, or it might be a line underneath on what somebody says, and then who said that they were going to do what, and then it just gives you that as well. And you've got a little to-do list. It integrates with Slack. I have no commercial relationship with Read AI, by the way. I know there's lots of apps that do similar things. So it sends you a Slack message, say this is a summary of your last meeting. It's really good, and I think it's saving a lot of time.
Yeah. So this is what I see in AI. So unless we know that what we want to use it for, it will help us definitely. And you can actually distribute the summary as well within your group or other teams, because at the moment, for example, when I do the QBR with our partners, I need a manual summary, or we just do the summary on the go, and that time we just distribute it. So this is brilliant, actually. So maybe after the podcast, you can tell me more about it.
I'll tell you more about it. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's problematic if you ask it to create content. That's I don't know what your thoughts are on there, and I think that's something that I'm not an expert on AI by any stretch of the imagination, but I think that's something that we should be concerned about or mindful of. Because quite often these AI tools, if you're asking it to create content like generative AI, is going off to the internet to find things, and it doesn't know whether what it finds is true or not. And so it can bring it back and then give you some information which is incorrect. The example I always give is I was introducing ChatGPT when it first came out to one of my friends that works in care homes, and he couldn't believe it. But it was he was a Queen's Park Rangers fan, so I said, look, I'll show you. So I asked it to summarise QPR season, and it was so believable. Like it had stats and facts. It was all wrong, but it looked so believable, right? So somebody that didn't know that whether it's right or wrong could have published that. Yeah. And then the problem is then later on down the line, AI then goes to find that content that's incorrect and then builds more information off it. So it can end up sort of eating its own exhaust fumes, basically. So I think from a generating content point of view, not so helpful. But I think in terms of summarizing, it's amazing to have, we have a second brain of information for clients. We can say, what did my client say about a particular thing? And then it'll just go and look through reams of text and come back with the exact quote that you need. So very helpful from that point of view, I think. Yeah,
I agree. And it's very good that you actually brought up the content piece. I think AI has trust. People don't really trust in AI when it comes to, finding content and, is it true, is it not? There is a hesitation. But in terms of generating content, what I believe, I have two things to actually tell you. One is authenticity. So an AI can't replicate the human mind ever. This is what I believe. And journalists have a unique style, how they write, and this is how they keep the audience, right? So that's why I think we are not replaceable, or journalists won't be replaceable. They can have a summary, for example, when they want to put out there, a teaser, AI can help them to put that together, but the main content needs to be human-led, 100%. The second thing, for me, English is my second language. What I find very useful to get an idea, to be more native when I write, for example, an email, or when I would like to have different ideas when I put out, a post on LinkedIn, so on and so forth. But it's very interesting. I never post straight away what AI gives me. I always read it through and make it mine. So that's why I think authenticity is very, very important. It
really is. When I worked at the Telegraph, unfortunately, this is another football story, but I don't know if you're into football.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
We had a journalist called Henry Winter who was very, very well respected at writing about football, and he had more followers on Twitter than the Telegraph had. Because people, and then when he went to the Times, a lot of readers went with him to the time. So it's people want to know what people think, right? And AI can't be people. It's just not. Yeah. I think it's okay if it's like generic. I'll tell you another thing it's very good at is how-to videos. So for my team, I recorded how to do something in LinkedIn on a video, and then I just asked the AI to summarize it. It just gave a bullet pointed, do this, then do this, then do this, and do this. And it's very good at that because that's just the universe of data you're asking it to look at is just that video. So it doesn't go off and find all sorts of stuff that it can hallucinate on.
Where trusted content is there. That time we should use AI, right?
Yeah, 100%. One of the just what got me started on this now, but Perplexity is amazing. I don't know if you've used Perplexity, the premium version. So what I love the user experience is really clever. I think Rory Sutherland would love it, like because from a behavioural science point of view, it shows you the workings out. It tells you what it's doing. You have to wait maybe 2 or 3 minutes to get your answer. But it says, right, now I'm going to check all of these sites. Now I'm going to cross-reference against these sites, and that gives you a lot more trust. Yeah, and okay, I think this is going to be a really good answer, and it hasn't let me down yet. It will go and look at multiple sites to cross-reference and triangulate, and then come back and give you exactly the information you want. It's insane. Wow.
But see, again, they are trying to build the trust, right? To show exactly what they do. Yeah. So this is what I feel. The trust is not really there and never be. There will be, some second thoughts. Okay, let's just check it. Is it true or not? So yes.
And that's what I love about that. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think I've seen ChatGPT has started to do that a little bit now, maybe copying it. So we're looking at this and this is what we're looking at. But it literally tells you what you're doing is like a little summary, like a little ticker. And it's amazing. It can find the most bizarre, random information and just to deliver it to you in a really easy to digest format.
I can see the relation between programmatic and AI a little bit, trust, transparency, this is what we all talk about. So yes, I think so. It's very important, these two pieces. And I can see what you just explained, that both of them are there. So yes.
So you've got a podcast as well, new-ish, not new, but new-ish, yeah.
Yes, well, I have a couple of podcasts. I started to do that, tried it. I have because I did a coaching diploma, so I'm coach as well. And I thought, okay, let's help coaches because I want to help everyone. So I started to interview them, coach to coach conversation.
Is that life coaches, sport coaches?
Everyone. So I interviewed sport coaches as well as life coaches, very big ones as well. So it was amazing how many people would like to go out there and build their personal brand. So yes, I do that. I started the Unspoken series as well. Probably I will continue very soon. And the new initiative is, Yes, We Are Women and Iconic Women. Hopefully we can work together with the English native podcaster who can interview the ladies. So yes, I'm very excited. I always do, a lot of things. My mind, always 110%, but I'm enjoying it. Yeah. After a little, let's say rest time, 2 years rest time, I'm back and I'm happy to tell my stories and just inspire other ladies. Just go out there, talk about what they do, what their struggle is, what they are after, because this is very, very important. Yeah.
There's a lot of work that goes into a podcast, isn't there? Yeah. I feel like we can connect on
that.
Yeah.
Don't tell me.
Did you realise just how much work would be required before you started it?
No, never. I thought, okay, 1 hour recording, but after that, okay, I need to do the intro, I need to do the creative, I need to edit a little bit, I need to do teasers as well. So I think so altogether, it's around 3-4 hours minimum. If you want to put together a podcast with editing. Without editing, it could be a little bit shorter. But yes, if you enjoy it and you enjoy it, it's something different what we do every day, and you can engage with people, you can learn from people, you can build your network. I think so. It's a good place.
Talking about AI, something that I really want to get around to, but I just never seem to have the time. Is this podcast, 6Ls podcast, has nearly had 100 episodes now, and I've had some amazing guests, including your very good self. I would love AI to just look at everything that everyone's ever said, and then just build like cheat sheets of information. Imagine how much knowledge there's been sat in that seat over the last 5 years. That'd be a pretty cool project to do, but it's just one of those.
Yeah. You should talk to John Walsh. I think so. They try to do something like, summary of every chat groups or something like that. Yeah. But this is a brilliant idea. I would love to know what is the most common word. We mentioned,
I reckon it's awesome.
Awesome, really?
Yeah, I
okay. I say awesome. Yeah. Just to be sure. Yeah. And yes, how, different perspective changed within the years. How many years you've been doing this?
So we started in lockdown. So similar to you and your Programmatic Network monthly calls, it was like we needed a way of creating what we call people-shaped content when we couldn't see each other face to face. So it started off as just a Zoom call. With somebody, and then just took that and tried to edit it, the sound, to make it a little bit better. It was quite poor quality to start with, but obviously now we have studios and stuff, but you had to build towards that. And at 6 Cells, we help clients to produce their podcasts as well as produce our own. And one of the sort of key things that I would always say to somebody thinking of starting a podcast, and I think you'll probably agree with me, is you have to have a lot of patience. This isn't, you don't start a podcast and then suddenly everyone comes to it.
Yes.
Our audience numbers now are like as many as 8,000 per episode for the top ones, but they started off, it was less than 50. And when you put all that time and effort in, and 50 people look at it, you're like, it's like, so you have to just keep it going and keep it going. And the benefit, as you said, is learning from it, isn't it? But the benefit is how many people see that you have a podcast, not only listening from minute 1 to minute 20 or whatever. It's all of the marketing that goes around it. It's the content that you get to share. Yeah. It's the connections you get with other people and the learning, as we say. Yeah. So.
Patience, determination, and consistency. And I would say go after quality listeners as opposed to quantity of listeners, because you are very niche, and building this up takes time. And I would love to have quality of users and who really appreciate the content what we do, as opposed to just have different distribution tools or just advertise the podcast itself and just, one episode, one listener. So
but if that one listener was the right person, then it was worth it, wasn't it? If you could spend 20 minutes with the right person, but it was only one. I think that the curse of B2B marketing quite often is that people learn from B2C marketing, and so they think about millions. They think about numbers of being millions. You think, no, like if you're in the UK selling to UK advertisers, there's probably only 10,000 people in the whole of the UK that you need to talk to across the client and the agency. That's quite a small number. You don't need millions, but people think big is better, and it's not always.
No, So that's why quality, not quantity. And I can tell that the Women in Programmatic Network, we never marketing ourselves. So we build up the network like you build up your podcast. So slowly we've grown. And I think so the word of mouth is the best PR and marketing as well, because the trust is there. You would believe your friend more than a billboard, right? Sure. So I think so that's why it takes time. But when you are there, you enjoy and you can be proud of yourself. Yes, I've done it and I created something valuable for the people. So I'm happy. I'm happy for you. I'm happy for us and everyone who starts something for the community, because it's just great. It's just great initiative.
Thank you. So you've got a ready-made audience, right? Like for the Women in Programmatic Network, you said you had like about 3,000 members. I'm assuming that they all get a copy of the podcast pretty early.
So it's outside of the Women in Programmatic Network, but now I started literally yesterday or day before yesterday. I started to negotiate with the board member. What about if we do the Iconic Women, which will be a so exclusive podcast. Hopefully, it can come live quite soon. So basically, we would like to interview top level.
That would be under the badge of the Women in Programmatic Network?
Yes, and in cooperation with someone else. And we would like to interview like very top leaders to tell their stories, ups and downs, like a frank conversation, not necessarily about digital or about, our profession and industry. Because I really wanted to try the people behind title as a podcast, because I want to know. You are a CEO, CRO, you are a manager, you are a trafficker, but who you are really?
Yeah.
What makes you, wake up every day? What do you really enjoy outside of work? How you could be motivated, for example, in your work? What's your aspirations? So I think so these are very, very important, and manager can learn a lot about it as well as employees. So
what do you enjoy out of work then?
Yes, podcasts, thinking about programmatic new stuff. I really liked Netflix as well, and sleeping nowadays, a busy mind needs rest as well. And I started to travel again. I think so traveling and exploring new cultures are also good.
Is there a podcast series in traveling maybe?
No, I don't think so. Maybe, but not at the moment, no.
Okay. So what are you most excited about in the industry at the moment?
At the moment, curation, but trusted curation and trusted marketplaces. Out of home, programmatic out of home, I would say it will be quite big after CTV. And partnerships. I think partnership will be even much more important for all of the companies than before. I think we will go back to the human-led conversation, and because of the trust is not there, because the data legislations are more and more stricter. We need the direct conversation, the direct transaction, and we can't rely on open marketplace and indirect media buying and selling anymore. So what I predict, that I predicted it a couple of years ago, that open marketplace will shrink, and curations, trusted marketplaces, data partnerships will be bigger and bigger, and we will talk more about them.
Yeah. It's funny timing, because my next guest that I'm recording today is Filippo from OneTag, who is a curation company.
Okay, nice.
It's interesting, isn't it? The curation. I've got the grey hairs to prove it, but I've been in this industry for a long time before programmatic was even the way that we bought digital advertising. And it used to be that there was a relatively small number of websites on a media plan, because everything was very manual. So a media agency would have to come to the Telegraph, and then they would sort the creative out for us, and then sort the campaign out with us, and then they go to the Guardian, then they go to the Independent, and everything was like door to door.
Yeah.
And so we started off with a very trusted, whether it was by design or accident, but a very trusted small number of sites on a media plan. And then when programmatic came along, sometimes there'd be thousands and thousands, and there's obviously problems that have occurred with that. People like bad actors that have inserted themselves into that to sort of siphon money out. And it feels like firstly with PMPs and then with curation, it feels like we're going back the other way again. We're going, okay, we need a smaller number, right?
Yes. Again, it's more like towards quality than quantity. So a couple of years ago, people said that programmatic about volume, right? I didn't agree with that. I think so programmatic about finding the right audience in the right place, right? In a higher scale, right? But it's not about volume. And my example, I'm not very good in example, but my example was Rolls-Royce, right, shouldn't have an expectation that, let's say in the UK, we want 10 million people, because they can't afford Rolls-Royce, right? No. So they should start the conversation about, okay, which is relevant for us, what we should do programmatically, and what is the best approach to achieve the highest scale what we can, right? So, again,
relevance.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. The relevancy is very, very important here. So it's not everything about scale. It's not everything about just going to open marketplace and purchase inventory cheap. I think so. Publishers getting more and more advanced in terms of how the buyers try to reduce, the floor prices, and they talk to each other, and they realize how much money goes to third parties and in between the two endpoints. So that's why I think so partnership, direct conversation and curation will be very, very important. And as I said to you, trusted marketplaces, where its transparency is there, not so many middlemen, and yes, totally agree with you. Maybe you can achieve much more better performance on, let's say, 50 sites than 1,000, right? Because the buyers funnel down everything. So they start big and slowly, they will end up having maybe 100, 200 sites. And if you remember a couple of years ago, there was backlisting sites and whitelisting sites, right? So curation is something like that, whitelist of sites, right?
Yeah. Yeah, the keywords blacklist and whitelist drive me mad because they don't. Well, most of them anyway. Most of the solutions are too binary. It's like if that word appears, then we don't appear next to it. But quite a few words, many words are another football story coming. Sorry, but there was during the Euro 2022. I forget the name of the publisher, but they had loads and loads of their brand safe inventory talking about football marked as unsafe because it had the word shoot in it.
Oh, yes.
In football, you shoot to score, right? But the word was blacklisted because it could mean like a shooting and so there needs to be a very heavy sentiment run over those keywords. How is the word being used? Because most words are okay if they're being used in a certain context.
And which environment? And actually AI could help this. As well, right? Just understand the whole picture as opposed to just one word in it. And totally agree with you. When we were with Emily, it was at BBC and me, Euronews, we struggled exactly with the same situation, and we tried to educate people. You shouldn't blog the whole a news site. You should use, a keyword tool or just understand, different categories and just try to exclude, the hard news, let's say, if you are not comfortable with it. But yeah, it was a great example, and curation can help to understand the content much more better as well and create a safe, trusted place based on data, based on content, based on other, let's say, data signals as well.
Yeah. I think curation, it can help you have a list of sites that you trust, right? And that used to be how media buying worked. When I worked in newspapers right at the beginning of my career, media agencies would trust that the Telegraph wouldn't do anything bad. They're not going to write anything outrageous, and so we're going to be pretty safe. Yeah. And if you were advertising BA, then the editorial and the page planning staff would make sure that BA didn't appear on a plane crash. But other than that, hard news was fine because hard news typically appears at the front of the newspaper, and every advertiser wanted to be at the front of the newspaper. And now we've got a situation where big news stories generate huge page views on news sites, but advertisers go, oh no, that's not brand safe. And so it's this crazy kind of dichotomy where you've got the biggest audience you could possibly have because everyone's really interested in this news story, but no advertiser wants to take advantage of that attention. Yeah,
I think so. This will be again a sort of education around what is brand safe and what is suitable for the brands. So hard news was always, a tricky one, but this is...
but it was a tricky one in digital, but it wasn't in the physical newspapers, but people 100%. Would be absolutely fine with it.
I wanted to tell you an example, right? I'm using Tube, and in digital, let's say we are very data heavy, right? Data rich. And it's a benefit, but on the other hand, it doesn't serve us as well because we need to have, alcohol ads, certain, age exclusion and different targeting, sensitive categories, so on and so forth. But when I walked on the platform, on the tube station, I saw 2 alcohol ads next to each other. Offline. So where is the protection, under 18 or under 21 here? So I think so because we can do things. That's why we are pressurized in some points. And
it's true, isn't it? If you go to an alcohol website, you have to confirm that you're over 18 to get in.
And on the tube station, it's very, very interesting. So
it's probably something to do with percentages, isn't it? Like I think that's probably, I don't know, but I'm guessing that there's some sort of rule whereby if the majority of audience that are in a particular area are considered to be most likely to be adults, then it's okay, perhaps. Because newspapers were able to take,
it's interesting. We should dig deeper in this. But yeah, when I was like, because my mind always works in the background, and alcohol, tobacco, sensitive categories are always a pain for everyone. How they can execute, shall we execute or not? And I was like walking on the two alcohol ads next to each other, right? So where is the competitor exclusion here? Where is the minority, protection here? So it would be great to see, what are the requirements offline and online, and be aligned with it somehow. Or maybe we can get some sort of flexibility around this.
Yeah. Maybe we get mobile phones talking to outdoor ad units, and so we can say, okay, turn the ads off. There's a class. On my journey on today, there was a whole class of children got on the train. So with digital out of home triggered by mobiles, maybe they go, okay, no, turn it off. There's too many young people. Turn it back on. It's later at night. Or
I think so. Out of home will be big, and we can do very cool things with it quite soon, but our mindset needs to be changed from hyper-targeting people to targeting a cohort of people. It's totally different approach, I would say, but I really like your idea. I keep this one in mind.
There we go. Listen, I could talk to you all day, but we're nearly out of time. So thank you so much. We started talking about getting you on the podcast about 2 years ago, so I'm glad we finally managed to do it.
Yes, me too.
And despite the London Underground's best efforts, you weren't kept away this time, so that was amazing. Thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I had very, very good time. Thank you again.
Likewise. Thanks, Sophie. Take care.
You too.